If you are an American dreaming of a home here in Vallarta, Nayarit, this video is for you. Hi, I'm Cristina Bautier, a real estate advisor with Coldwell Banker La Costa here in beautiful Vallarta, Nayarit. And before I moved here, before I relocated, I was a licensed mortgage originator in Chicago. And when I relocated, I learned that 90% of sales, of real estate sales in this market are cash. I knew immediately that financing was a conversation buyers needed to have. In this first episode, that's exactly why I brought Troy, our special guest from Moxi Global Mortgage, my go-to resource for financing questions. And if you have worked with me, you know that I have referred you to Troy with more information on financing. And quickly, four questions that we are going to cover in this episode are: can Americans get a mortgage here in Vallarta, Nayarit? What type of property can you finance? What's the process once you reach out to Troy? And what type of loan to value can you expect? But before we dive in, I like to ask Troy to share with us his background and tell us more about who is Moxi Global Mortgage in Vallarta, Nayarit.
Thank you for having me too, Christina. My name is Troy. I'm a mortgage advisor here with Moxi Global Mortgage. My background consists of 25 years of origination in the U.S. and in the last 3 years, so total of 28, and then 3 years with Moxi Global Mortgage. Moxi is a Mexican-based company that offers U.S. financing. Our headquarters is in San Jose del Cabo, and we're excited. We're excited that there's financing in Mexico, just like we have in the States.
That's excellent. Well, let's dive in. The first question that often American buyers have: does financing exist for Americans in Vallarta, Nayarit? Can they finance?
Yes, that's the great thing. That's why we're here. That's why I'm here. That's why we have an office in Puerto Vallarta, is because there is real U.S. financing in Mexico. And when I say U.S. financing, you probably know the name Fannie Mae. That's what I mean. That's how we qualify you based upon Fannie Mae guidelines. But yes, there is financing in Mexico, and it just opens up so much more for that buyer. So we're excited to make a difference on a daily basis.
And Troy, tell me, what type of properties can American buyers use with financing?
Sure. Specifically resale properties that are already completed, manifested, or condo regimes already in place. That means that the structure's completed and signed off on. But yeah, it's condominiums and single family residences. We don't do commercial lending. You can think of, again, back to Fannie Mae guidelines, 1 through 4 unit, right? So a duplex or a triple or a quad would be fine. And then your single family residences.
Okay, so condos and houses are
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
financed. Great. And what's the process? I often speak to potential buyers and they ask me these questions and all these questions at one, right? What's the
Yeah.
interest rate? How long?
Yeah.
What is the down payment? And
Mm-hmm.
I often say to them, let me connect you with Troy. He will respond in detail these questions because they're all based on the buyer's specific situation. What is the process once a buyer reaches out to
Yep.
you, Troy?
That's the best part of the entire thing. You get to have a video call or phone call with me. So, and during that phone call, we'll work around your time, of course, and that's on weekends too. I'm available on weekends if you need me. We'll go over the process. We'll go over the timelines. We'll go over interest rate. I can qualify you over the phone in most cases, just like I would in the U.S. for many, many years. It comes down to U.S. income, U.S. assets, and U.S. credit. So to answer your question, a discovery call is what we call it, to go over the process, talk about timelines, and see if there's a fit for you.
Yes. Yes. So all the nitty gritty
Yeah.
going to that first initial call.
Yep.
And,
It's a non-evasive. It's a conversation. That's all. Just like you would when you're buying a property in Ohio or California.
and let's say, for example, this potential buyer gives you this information and you run all the numbers. I'm assuming you run the credit.
Mm-hmm.
And what is the turnaround that they can expect to
Yep.
say for you to tell them, okay, this is the down payment, this is the interest rate?
That's right. So a lot of that's on the buyer. How quickly can they get me the documentation I need to qualify them, right? W-2s, pay stubs, tax returns. So once I have an application and I have all of their documentation, realistically, let's say I got all that on a Monday, it's very possible I can have their approval by Friday or the following Monday. It just kind of depends on how backed up the underwriters are, and again, how quickly the buyer can get me the information that I need.
Okay, so it's very similar to US.
Yeah.
You request pay stubs, W-2s,
Hmm. Yep. And
all
we
the
work
stuff.
with a lot of self-employed. A lot of my buyers are self-employed. So I've got a couple other avenues to qualify you, bank statements, asset depletion, and so on too.
Mhm. And is there a minimum and maximum, Troy, with Moxi?
Yes, yes, there is. So minimum sales price we like to stay around is 400,000, and minimum down payment is 35%. Um, some states can require an extra down payment for now, but the majority of the states are 35% down.
35% down, majority
Mhm.
of the states.
Mhm.
And this is all in US dollars, right?
It's all in US dollars. That's correct. It's
Excellent.
a US mortgage in Mexico. The investors in the US, there's the servicing, which is in the US as well too, which means you'll receive a 1098 at the end of the year, which is the interest that you pay on your Mexico property. There's possible tax deductions. Get with your CPA, of course, first. You could deduct the interest on your US taxes. So long-term fixed product, qualify you the same, hence US mortgage in Mexico.
Excellent. A lot of insightful information, right? That's why we decided to answer only 4 questions per episode. We plan to have these episodes weekly. And if you have a specific question, please email us or send us a WhatsApp message so that we can respond to that question next week, because I know there are a lot more questions out there. I would like to close with one final question that is also very important. What is the loan to value that someone can expect?
In Jalisco right now, it's 55% loan to value. However, we're looking, that should be kicked up to 65 here pretty soon. And then in every other state in the entire country, it's 65% or 35% down.
65. Right now it's going to be 65.
65% loan to value, 35% down
And tell
payment.
us, Troy, for those who are not very familiar, what does that mean?
Yeah. So for example, in Nayarit, in Bucerias, in Nuevo, it's 35% down payment of the sales price. In Puerto Vallarta or Guadalajara, which is in Jalisco, Ajijic, it's 45% down of the sales price. With that said, we're working to increase that loan to value and lessen the down payment in Jalisco soon, soon.
Great, great information. And
Yeah.
this is just the first episode,
Mhm.
and there are a lot more questions coming, in different scenarios, but we thought this will be the basics to start our first
Mhm.
episode. And thank you so much, Troy.
Yeah.
You have a lot of insightful information. Anything else that you can think for the closing of our first episode?
I think it's important, just like it is in the States, to reach out and have a conversation for financing, right? You don't want to go, it doesn't matter what state you're in, and you go get in a realtor's car and drive around and look at 20 different properties and you're not qualified. Just like in Mexico, get your qualification out of the way, get your approval out of the way, because the seller's going to want that. You want to drive around with Christina in her car or bus or however you're going to get around, and you want to be that golden buyer, right? You want to have that ticket, that approval right here. I'm ready to go. And it makes things much smoother in the beginning, right? There's no pressure. We're ready to roll. So super
That's
important.
that's very well said, Troy, because
Thank you.
a seller wants to sell right away,
That's
and
right.
what better than you already present your approval letter
Hmm.
and say, I can offer this amount and I'm ready to move in. And
Yep.
we would like to see more buyers who have this option, because
That's
I
right.
think there is a lot of uncertainty out there. A
Hmm.
lot of people have a lot of questions, and this is the whole
Hmm.
reason why we started these
Hmm.
episodes on financing in Vallarta Nayarit with the expert
Hmm.
of Troy, who's got years and years of experience.
Hmm.
That's great. I
Very, very
hope
good.
you found this information very useful, and remember to email us and WhatsApp your questions for next time, and we will respond. And I will see you on the next episode with Troy and Moxi Mortgage. Thank you, Troy.
You bet. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
It's been a very, very fun episode, and just episode 1. More to come. Thank you again, and we'll see you next week.